Good morning, and very good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to VUEGRAPHY. All right, today I'm going to talk about a special lens. It's really a special lens, and especially for architecture and landscape. Yep. Have you ever heard about tilt shift lenses? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard about that lens, but what exactly they do? Let me introduce the lens first. So this is Nikon 28mm f 3.5 shift lens. So what it do, that is a knob over here, and it basically shifts. As you can see, it shifts over here. So now you're probably thinking that it's going to shift over there if I'm going to rotate this knob to the other direction. No, it basically it makes the lens tilt like 45 degree, 30 degree apart. So in this way I can basically take 30 degree apart. It's like 12 o'clock, then 30 degree like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, back to 12. So basically I can shift the direction of that shift. I mean literally shift the direction of the shift lens 30 degree apart. This is what it does. So what exactly the shift lens is? Shift lens is basically change the perspective of your lens. For example, if I'm shooting like this, all right, and I'm having a cutoff point over here of any architecture building, I'm not able to take the full height of that building. So the easiest thing is just like tilt the camera up and take the shot, right? But in this way, the perspective distortion comes in and it looks like the building is falling behind. This shift lens, what it does, you keep the horizon or the angle of plane, all right, or plane of angle, whatever, okay, like totally straight. Like the sensor is not basically shifting up. No, the sensor is literally straight, all right, and basically you are shifting the lens a little up over there in order to see the extra frame on the top. So in this way, the moment you shift the lens up, your focus, your sensor is not tilting up, it basically remains the same. So the lens basically shift, normal lens, what it does, if this is the lens and this is the sensor, and in order to see the top of any building, you basically move like this. So both sensor and the lens move together over there. In the shift lens, it doesn't work like this. In shift lens, the sensor remains the same, totally perpendicular, and only the lens shift upwards, and in order to see the extra frame. And in this way, there will be no perspective distortion. There is zero perspective distortion, and it's very handy for architecture where you don't need perspective distortion at all. So what this lens is basically do, it only shift over here through this point, through the base, is basically shift 45 degree or 30 degree click. Yes, you can 30 degree click. So it basically shift in one direction. So if I'm putting the lens like this, let me show you. This is the lens. So in order to see, now the lens is shifting towards the left hand side. You see, it basically came back, and I see it shifted towards the left hand side. Now I putting it back and I change the direction to 45 degree towards the right. Now it will move up over there. In this way, it like goes like up, goes like this, depending on how I'm rotating it. So I have a, like, you know what, you most probably you're not able to understand, but I made a video. Okay, you go and I'll show you how I able to take like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 images. Let me show you how I took 12 images in 12 different directions using this lens. So let's jump on the screen and I'll show you. Alright, so this is we have the images that I took from the shift lens. So each of these image, this is right, in the center where the shift lens and the shift lens was not shifted, like in neutral position. Then that's 90 degree or totally shift to the top. Then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10. Oh, I have two shots, 9 o'clock, 10 and 11, and then 12 back again. Let me delete this one shot to make things equal. So I have like 15 shots. What I'm going to show you that, see, this is that 28 millimeter basically, took the image, and you can see 28 millimeter at 5.6, 2.5 seconds of exposure, ISO 200, which is the base ISO of D3S. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you that how I'm basically using this shift lens and making it more uh, visually bigger size. So like uh, this is all visually bigger means all I'm going to stitch them together to make the total angle of view or total captured area more than 28 millimeter, which is going to be like, I don't know, like 20 millimeter or 16 millimeter or 18 millimeter something. So let's go photo merge, panorama, and I'll choose perspective. I go with perspective by default. No, that's autochrome. Okay, so this is how it is. So this is like all of them, all of the 15 images are stitched together, and as you can see over here that this is the original image at 28 millimeter, and this is all 15 images stitched together, which is covering more area. All right. So what if I choose this called fill edges, and let's see what Lightroom is going to do. Lightroom is low. Voila. Now look at that. This is 28 millimeter, and this is like I captured this image like 16 millimeter or maybe 14 millimeter, something like that. Why? Because I used 16 panorama images by using a shift lens, and I'm having zero distortion. You can see over here, zero distortion, zero perspective distortion. Everything is dead straight. So that's the advantage of the shift lens. I'm going to merge them. It will appear over here. Here we go. So, and how many pixels are there? Let me calculate. Okay, that's around 35, 38 megapixel, 35 to 38 megapixel. This is the image which I able to create using a 12 megapixel shot. Let's do that calculation for a second. So how many pixels? It's like 5488 multiplied by 6914. Yeah, 38 megapixels. Yeah, I was right. 35 to 38 megapixel I said. So it's like 37.9, like 38 megapixel. So I able to create a 38 megapixel image using a 12 megapixel D3S by using a shift lens, and I'm able to capture more detail, all of them. And this is the image which wait, so this is the 28 millimeter, and this is, so on the left hand side the 28 millimeter f3.45 without shifting, and this on the right hand side is the same lens by using the shift property, and I capture extra frame, 12 extra frame here, in order to create this much more wider angle of view without any perspective distortion. So this is the advantage of shift lens. Let's get back to the video. So you saw how I took 12 shots and I was able to capture extra frame using the shift lens. So this is what shift lens does. It's a very handy thing for landscapers also. You can take extra frame both in the left and the right hand side, and also on the top corner and up there, in order to capture extra frame. So like you can capture using a 28 mm, you can capture somewhere around 20 millimeter or less, depending on the scene, how much you can able to capture the scene using the 28 millimeter lens, the shift lens. I found this lens from eBay and it's very really great a lens. It has basically two apertures. Let me show you. Okay, so now I have to show you how the dual aperture of this lens works. It has basically two aperture ring. I hope you can see one over here, one over here. So you basically I push this lens down, push this aperture ring down, and I shift. So it's like 3.5, 4, 5.6, 8, all the way 22. So let's suppose I push this ring down and go to F8. So I basically locked at F8, pushing it down and move to F8. Now the second aperture ring is basically cannot go beyond F8. So basically this is the lock for this aperture ring, is the lock for the below aperture ring. So it's moved from 3.5 all the way to F8. So now if I have to shift to F22, I push this thing ring down, move to 22. Now I can move from 3.5 all the way to 22. So that's the aperture ring part, but that's not the only thing we have to talk about. The shift part is basically this thing. So you see, it's shifting in one direction. So when I move it back, I change the, this is 30-degree click. You see this? This is 30-degree click, and each click basically represents 30-degree shift. So I can shift this lens up, left, right, down 30-degree. So see, in this direction, that's 30-degree, and then I can shift this lens over here and over here and over here. You know what, let me show you through the camera. Alright, so now I put this lens on my trusty D700. Alright, and as you can see that it only shift in one direction. So this is the camera right now, and I'm going to move this lens, so it's shifting towards the right hand side. So the focal plane remains the same, but you are seeing the extra frame in this direction. Now I can shift this lens so I can take extra frame. They're like this, you see. Now and this knob is 30-degree down. So I am in this position. I am taking extra frame to the top. So like if this is the building, so I am able to take extra frame on the top. So in this way, in this way, in this way, in this way, I am taking extra frame towards over here. In this way again, this. Now I am taking extra frame down. You see? Now I am taking extra frame down. Over here you can see that. So in this way I can this. Now I can take extra frame towards the right hand side. So 30-degree, 30-degree, 30-degree. So now I'm taking extra frame to the top. So in this way basically I can cover extra frame in all 360-degree. That's how good the perspective control lenses are. In we can take extra frame to the side while keeping the camera sensor exactly the plane. So in this way I don't have perspective distortion at all using the perspective control lens. Let's get back to the video. So you saw the two apertures, how they work together. One is basically the limiter and the other is free which only goes up to where you put the limit of the using the first aperture. This is a PC Nikkor 28mm f3.5, and it's pretty damn sharp lens, not just like the modern day perspective control lens, which is like the pinnacle of optical engineering. Is also a shift and a tilt lens that's 19mm PC Nikkor. I believe it's 3.5 as well. That lens, oh my god, I have used that lens. Man, it's not only the shift lens, that lens is also a tilt lens. Tilt is it's something crazy. In this way, in using this lens, you are only shifting the focal plane virtually. And the tilt lens, you're not only shifting, you also tilt the focal plane. That's really crazy. So using this lens, you are basically shifting the focal plane in 30-degree direction. So your sensor remains the same. You're just shifting the focal plane up and down depending how you're going to use that lens. So that's it. That's the introduction about the today video. That's 28mm 3.5. Very nice lens for architecture and landscape photography, especially for the architecture. If you are into architecture, you must own all these perspective control lenses because it makes life so easy for you. You can't even believe, literally. You see how I able to capture extra frame, including covering the corner. You saw on the Lightroom. So that's become so easy. So like using a 12 megapixel, which I only able to crop in the center. Using this lens, I don't know how many megapixel image I have to see. It's like totally crazy. So using a 12 megapixel, I able to capture more megapixel using this shift lens. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys. Lens drop off. No worries. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in future with some new content. Till then, take care. Bye.